Righto, back in the sweat box. Morning. Sweatshop Central. Morning? No. Afternoon. Sweatshop Central. So, all painted now. I think we went over this. There you go. Recap. Painted. Looks good. So now the moment of truth. Let's see how many measurements I've stuffed up, and let's start laying some flooring. Alright, so how I'm cutting the boards, we have a straight edge. A few more clamps on this one because obviously we're down to the end of the board here. This is our straight edge, it's fairly straight, should be. We just measure from, whichever side of the blade we're cutting on. 429 gives us exactly 400mm with the saw blade. Yeah, you just set the depth and just rip along and gives you a nice straight cut. So we'll get on with it again. Righto, back in the sweat box. We've got this lot laid out. We're going to rub a line just the inside of these. Leah's already started and they've got too hot for the little pet, so we're going to get on and finish the job. And yeah. Boom! Oh, okay, so floor's down. Just use adhesive. Don't look at that, Jesus. Just use the adhesive. And then screwed it to each of the little cross members we put in there. Yeah, so now we'll go along The floor's got, just some minor patching. I did think about resheeting the whole thing, but I mean, it's only going to get covered up again anyway, so. Alright, so we're just finishing up the aisle. I thought the easiest thing to do was to continue the aisle all the way through. Ava's got the camera, so forgive the movements. Anyway, so it's a pretty straightforward process. We're just going to glue it down first. Use plenty, because if there's any discrepancies in the steel, the glue takes it up. Good one there. Just go easy on the camera, right? It's down there like that. Couple of screws. And that's pretty much the process. We just repeat that, rinse and repeat over and over again. Cheap screws. Some of these screws, these things, I don't know why they don't go through. The reason I'm using builder's bog, probably because it sticks really well to timber. There you go, that's all I'm using. Get it at Bunnings, probably get it at Mitre 10 too. 4 litres, I mean, it's a lot. There you go. Directions. The thicker the repair, the faster it hardens. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Anyway. Mix up your overcap. And a red hardener to each matchbox full of filler. What? Each matchbox full of filler? Who wrote this? I like this. The product is made from the finest materials known for the purpose. However, the use of this product being beyond their control, the manufacturer accepts no responsibility whatsoever for any damage arising from its application of use. So I guess if you put it on the space shuttle and it flakes off, that mock whatever, they're not taking any responsibility. So, I mean, is the bog that good? Anyway, that's where my mind goes. Down another rabbit hole. I'll research that one later. Good experiment. I can see I'll be probably seeing unicorns after this one. Good mixing blade actually is just a clipboard. I actually learnt this off a guy on YouTube, Bad Chad. He's a panel beater. Watch a lot of YouTube. He uses stuff like that, signboard. And I thought, oh, well, what have I got? Well, that's what I had. So anyway, we're going to, now the trick with this stuff is don't mix, you don't need to mix huge batches of it. Like that'll probably do this whole side, which is fine. Let's put that back in there for a sec. Like I said, not a huge, well, it says a fair bit of hardener, but teaspoon. I reckon that'll do. We don't need to go over the top here. That's probably over the top. Okay, and we'll just mix that around. I never said I was good at this. Probably want some level of patience. You've got sort of 15 minutes or so, I would imagine. Well, that's what it says on the thing. 15 minutes or so for this stuff to go off. I mean, you can get a lot done in 15 minutes, and you can sand this back, obviously. So that's probably looking pretty good. And don't know if you can see that. So I guess we'll just, start filling holes. I'm no expert, so this is, forgive me. So, and just get that in there. I actually reckon it's already starting to go off. You can just leave it high and come back and sand it off. If you choose to. I mean, we're not talking bloody concourse here. I actually reckon I'll probably mix this a little too. That's probably too much hardener. Sort of see if it's not going in over smooth. But that's okay. We'll make it work. And how many other more screws did I throw in this? Okay, so we'll go at this, shall we? So I just want to just lay it on the floor there. Just maybe start filling in that gap. Yeah, is 4 kilos going to be enough? Probably not. This gap was a bit of a pain to probably work out. It was just a challenge with the angles. Got that there, I'll just clean that off. Just so that's nice and clean. Next one. And we'll just sort of, you can do a couple of lifts with this stuff. It doesn't have to be all done in one hit. Right. But just sort of lay that in there like that. Something I've learnt, just mucking around with stuff like this is the trick is to know when to stop, like stop fiddling. I would probably say that's probably pretty close there. Stop fiddling, let that go off. We'll probably go one more lift over the top of that. Might go a little less hardener. And yeah, so I'm going to mix the next batch up and just sort of get these front boards filled, and then we'll come back and have a look. Righto, so we're on to the final steps of the floor here. So just sanding some of this old glue off and just sort of taking the high spots out as best I can. and smoothing it off, and then I'll come back and fill a couple little spots. But this is sort of the last step in preparing the floor, and then yeah, we're going to start putting walls in. That'll be fun. Anyway, a couple of hours of this and on to the next step. Alright, so that's sanded. Looks average. I just used an 80 grit belt, pretty coarse, and because I'm intending on actually gluing the floor, chosen a is it like a composite flooring type deal. It's a clip lock floor. It's floating, but I'm intending on gluing it down. So yeah, I've sanded the floor with an 80 grit to make it rough, and then that'll give the glue something to bond to. I've just got a couple of things to touch up now. Just skim a couple of tiny spots, and I'll come back and just re-sand them later. All right. Faster you want to go, the more you put in. I found actually the best place to mix this is on the floor. I think I've already said it before. Not too stressed about ridges or anything like that, because you can knock it off pretty quick. Okay, so the floor's done. I've sort of do a couple of little spots, not a big deal. But I just thought while we'd finish this one out, I'd quickly show the flooring that we're going to put in. So this is a composite plank. They're going to run this direction. That's the colour. These are really good. I've laid these once before, and yeah, you just score them with a Stanley knife and snap them. They have like a very, you can't really see it, but the top layer is like a bit of aluminium, and then the middle is the vinyl, and then there's this padding on the bottom. I just brought one down to, excuse me, just brought one down to lay it on the floor, just to see, because there's a couple little waves in the floor as it moves along, and these are actually sitting quite well. I'm going to glue these down just because just the way the vehicle moves, I'll just glue them down. And the glue will help take up any dips, lumps or bumps that I didn't sort of get out with the belt sander. Anyway, that's the floor colour. Yeah, so that's all for this one. Thanks for having a look. It was a bit of a job levelling the floor in this thing, but it's done now. And the next one, I think we'll lay out the floor plan, start making some walls. I've done a bit of research on some other things as well with opening windows. We're going to go with a Lexan replacement panel, and then we're going to do something fancy to get some opening windows in here. So that's going to be exciting. Plenty coming up. You know, this is a big project. So yeah, share it if you want to, like and subscribe and all that sort of jazz. Anyway, we'll catch you in the next one.